Morning, boys and girls. It's Thursday, the 7th of February, 2019. Welcome along to this morning's United Kingdom Talk, coming to you from Bracknell in Berkshire. I've got what I love this. This is my clouds, isn't this fantastic? My clouds jacket. I thought when I'm away with the fairies, I just put this one on. It's marvellous, isn't it? Very cheap, dear. Only £20 this one. I've sat here this morning, as I've told you before. By the way, the voice is a little bit better this morning. It's gone back up a semitone. Can you tell? It sounds a little bit more puffy than it did yesterday. It's not so deep today. Deeper. It's not so deep. Sorry, I've heard that somewhere before. I can't remember. Deeper. It's not so deep as it was yesterday, but it's still down one or two semitones, I think, dear. Or two semitones, which equals one tone for those of you that are not musically involved. Now, talking of music, I didn't realise that tomorrow night it's on BBC. Well, what side is it on? 1 minute, wait. It's on BBC One. Oh, they've put it back on BBC One. At last. I went, no, hang on a minute. Tomorrow, BBC Two, it says. I can't work that out. It says that I'm looking on the BBC website. On the left, it says 1, so you would assume it's on BBC One. But on the right-hand side, it says on TV, BBC Two tomorrow at 19:30. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, tomorrow at 7:30, possibly at 7:30, either on BBC Two or BBC One. It's not clear on. I don't know who's put that up. That's badly designed. That is. They've got Eurovision. You decide tomorrow, okay? Which they'll be playing I think it's 3 songs or something like that. Hang on, let me have a look here. I'll read what it says on the BBC site. Eurovision You Decide is back for 2019 with a brand new format. Eurovision superfan Mel and the winner of the Eurovision Song Contest, Mans, he's very, very good looking, in 2015, hosts live from Media City, UK in Salford. That says it all, really, doesn't it? Why don't they stick it in the Royal Albert Hall like they do with the proms? No, they got a little studio in the Media City that they're going to do it in. Very disappointing. It comes from the northwest of England for the very first time. Not that that makes any difference. The 90-minute Eurovision extravaganza gives viewers the opportunity to vote for the song they want to represent the UK at the biggest music competition in the world. And an exciting format. Exciting. Let's look excited. In an exciting format change, each of the 3 songs. So there's only 3 songs. You've got 3 songs to choose from. Okay? It's performed in 2 different ways by 2 different acts. Okay, so they might take one song, say would it be like Save Your Kisses for Me, okay? And someone will sing it, Save Your Kisses for Me, save, and someone else will go, Save Your Kisses for Me, save all your and you've got to decide which one you like the best. A celebrity panel. Oh, God, not another celebrity panel. I'm sick to death of seeing. And are these going to be people with some sort of backup behind them? You know, not someone from a reality show who's been stuck there, like Cheryl Cole. You know, it's not someone like that. Is it someone like Lulu? Or Robbie Williams? I'd accept his point of view. Gary Barlow. They've been around for a while, haven't they? A celebrity panel and viewers at home make the decision on which the song represents the UK at the 64th Eurovision Song Contest, which will be held at Tel Aviv in Israel. And it says the show features special performances and surprises. And you can listen to all the songs on that site. They've got little clips. Now, I've got to be honest, I don't rate any of them much at all. If there's one that's got the edge over the others, I would say it's Freaks, sung by Jordan Clark. Now, I'm going to take a risk now. I'm going to take a risk now and play a little bit of it. On Facebook, the copyright police, who then assume that I'm playing it and you're recording it, and I'm going to may cut me off. So if that happens, just switch across to our YouTube channel. It's exactly the same show as you're watching now, except they seem to have their copyright stuff sorted out there. All right, that's youtube.com/Chris Reardon UK if we get cut off at this point. But let me just play you a few seconds of it, because the chorus is very catchy. Here it comes there. Just a minute now. Push that up there. Be really nice if I got some sort of sound, wouldn't it? Nothing. Oh, wrong button. Here, try it. Do you like that? We are the freaks. Now, the quality of that, I don't know why it doesn't sound particularly good over this system. They might have done something so that you can't play it properly. I don't know. But the boy sings about all the religions and all the people in the world don't like people that don't want to conform. We are the freaks, basically. And I think the chorus on that is pretty catchy. The verse takes a bit of getting used to, but you do get used to it. The other version of that is sung by, I think, a group of girls, called Maid. I'm not too keen on that. There's another couple of songs, one called Sweet Lies, and was another one there somewhere. Where's that gone now? And the other song is called Bigger Than Us. My money is with Jordan Clark's Freaks. Okay, so we'll see how that does tomorrow. Don't know if you've seen that at all. If you want to have a little listen to those, go to the BBC's Eurovision thing. Just type in bbc.co.uk. On the search thing, type in Eurovision, and it's amongst that stuff there. There's 6 little videos. I can play you a couple of the others as well if you want to. Let's have a look here. Sweet Lies by Anissa. Have a listen to this. Don't wanna hear a thing. Don't tell me where you've been. Keep telling me lies. Let's move that on a bit for you. That's that version of that. And then someone else does the same version, you see. Same song, but a different version. Have a listen to this. Do you like that or not? I think that's probably the song they're going to go with, that one, I would imagine, because it's upbeat and it's fast and it's happy clappy. Happy clappy. I'm not sure that the one I like the best will get anywhere, but we'll see. Now, that Freak, sung by Jordan Clark, someone else sings it, a group called Maid, which are 3 girls. Have a listen to their version. I know a place where the bruised and broken live like the kings and the queens of tragedy. Just freaks like you and me. There's something not right with that version. I'm not quite sure whether it's the bass line or what. But there we are. There's just 2 of the songs there. There are some more. There is one more song on there, which I'm not going to play you. Have a little look on the BBC's website when we finish this and see what you think. Eurovision decides tomorrow night at 7:30 on either BBC One or BBC Two. I seem to remember they shoved it over on BBC Four for a while for some reason. And BBC Three, actually. But BBC Three went, didn't it? So it disappeared off air. Okay, let's say hello to some of you this morning. Let's start with the YouTube ones today. Good morning to JP. First message in on the YouTube. Morning, John. Juan is there. He says, things that make me wish upon the North Star to awaken with your show. The show must go on. Yeah, it always must go. Absolutely. The show must always go on. You're quite right there, Juan. Morning to Paul and Lou. Notifications working again this morning. Thank you. John, LBC hits all-time listening record since it started 46 years ago. Just behind me. Yeah, you're right. If just a little bit more work there, John, and I think they'll catch up with my viewing figures. I really do. Are there... I did read that story myself in the Radio Today magazine last night, actually, just before I went to bed. And the trouble is you can't tell what... It's rare that everything is doing really well. Do you know what I mean? So if you had 10 presenters, it might be 7 of them doing really well. and 3 of them not doing so well. So we don't really see that part of it, do we? It's not like broken down for us. And look, Steve Allen is doing fantastically. Nick Ferrari is doing fantastically. James O'Brien is down a little bit. See, we don't know that. I'm not. That's not how it is, incidentally, because we don't know the answer to that. It's all very well saying, no, something's doing really well, but what parts of it are doing really well? Take, for example, this show. Every time I say something that and people don't agree with, down it goes. It's just how it is. It's funny, actually, yesterday's show, I do get statistics. I'm not bothered by numbers usually or statistics. But whenever I've done a show, the streaming service then sends me this report. And I clicked on it yesterday. And at a given time, suddenly it went down 5. And I actually went onto my show, and I went to the time where it says it dropped 5. And I listened, and it was like halfway through a story. There wasn't any particular anything going on there at all. And I thought, I wonder why everyone switched off at that time. But that's what a lot of people, management do. They look at all these statistics. When I was in Vegas with my nephew, we were walking through a shopping centre there. And this television company had a little table in the hallway, and they had some offices, so it looked like offices. Would you be interested in helping us choose a new TV show? And we weren't doing anything this particular day, so we said, like, well, yeah, why not? We'll do that. And we went into this little room. Basically, it was the most boring afternoon ever, I tell you. They put this video on the screen there, and we had a little dial, and we had to twist it when we thought it was really interesting, and untwist it when it was kind of losing our concentration, you see. And the computer will be reading that information, and then it gives them some sort of printout, I suppose, or on the screen of all these little lines going up and down. And it would tell perhaps the producers of that program that this part of the program was not interested. So they lost our concentration there. Maybe we would have switched over to another side, and they don't want to lose you. And it's all a little bit like that. I honestly don't. I don't make that up. I'm really not bothered that much by numbers and things like that. But that's what TV people do. They look at all these statistics and this, that, and the other. People are obsessed with data now, aren't they? What was that thing come out the other day? Something for cyclists I saw advertised on Facebook. Or it might have been on the telly. Something you attach to a bicycle, which can then collect all this data about the way you cycle and where you're cycling to and all that. I don't know why people want all this data all the time. Morning to Weird City Citizen. Good morning to you. Live from the Mirable Sis Studios. I had some of those biscuits last night. You know, the caramel shortbread biscuits. They were I had about 4, I think. They were which is good for me. For me to open a packet of biscuits and just have 4 is really good. I'm very impressed with myself. I sent myself in. I was going to pay myself back with an extra biscuit, but I didn't. They were the ones that you sent from John Lewis. I haven't tried the chocolate yet, so thank you very much for those. Absolutely delicious. Weird City Citizen sent them for my... But it was you, wasn't it? Or was it SOS? Oh, I can't remember now. Oh, gosh, because there was no little card in there. Someone told me on here, didn't they? So there we are. Good morning to Gustav, who says, can't wait to see if the social worker dressed him again. Don't you like this, Gustav? I love this jacket. It's one of my favourites, dear. Thank you very much. Which would upset you most? Losing your wallet or losing your mobile phone, says JP. Losing my mobile phone. Absolutely, yeah. Losing my mobile phone would upset me the most. A few years ago, John, I did do that. And I was cycling on the way to church. And I usually just chuck everything in the back of the bike. I've got a little bag on the back of my bike. Good morning, Maureen. Just texting in there. And I went over this bump and I heard something come out. I definitely heard something come out. And I looked back, and it was a bit, time was getting on. I looked back and I thought I heard something come out there. Couldn't see anything, okay? Then I got to church, went in the back of the bike. Where's the phone? And it was at that point it dawned on me it had gone. It had gone. I then cycled back along the same route I actually saw a boy, I say boy, probably about 22, 25, something like that, walking towards me with a phone that looked just like mine, with the same cover on that looked just like mine. And I said to him, have you just found that? He said, no. Okay, mate. And I let him go. And I'm sure that was my phone. But nevertheless, I looked everywhere for it. And I went home, John, and I was in pieces. Not crying, just absolutely terrified. What was I going to do without this phone? Because as well as using it to make calls and things like that, my sat-nav's on there. Now, you could say to yourself, well, you go to the same places all the time. Surely you know the route. Yes, I do. But the routes I take to work can have bad traffic. And the sat-nav will try, it's not always successful perfectly, but it will try and take you around the quietest route. Well, without the phone, I can't do that. I was all over the place. Calendar on there and everything. And within an hour, I'd gone down to a car phone warehouse and purchased a brand new one at a cost of about £700 on the credit card, you know. It was about six or £700. I was in absolute... Had it been a wallet, lost a bit of cash, I could ring up, cancel all the cards quickly. I say all the cards. I've only got like 3. I've got store cards, you know, like reward cards. There's my pre-payment prescription certificate in there. Membership of 3 swimming pools now I've got in there. Nectar card, Waitrose card, things like that. But I've only got like 3, money cards. So that's just a case of ringing up and cancelling them. Ever so easy. Mobile phone, not so easy. Phone numbers, everything on there. Everything on there. And I did a find your phone type thing because it was an iPhone and it wasn't showing up for some reason. The boy who nicked it found it must have turned that off straight away, I suppose. I don't know how you would do that, or didn't turn it on. I don't know. And I bought one there, and then I came back home. And the wonderful thing about certainly iPhones, I don't really know much about Android phones, is that you got a brand new phone. You push a couple of buttons, you sign into your iPhone account. Push a couple of buttons, and everything that was on your old phone is then placed on your new phone. That's the wonderful thing about iPhones. And there in my hand, I had my old phone, but brand new, and it was all working. Problem solved. Cost a bit of money, but problem solved. Absolutely. Mobile phone. I'd rather lose my wallet than my mobile phone. Go for being a 4-leaf clover today. Push the envelope, why don't you? What's a 4-leaf clover? I don't know what that is. No ring around the collar, I see. What ring? What are you going on about, Katie? Morning, Katie. Hello to you. Just a second. Tony, good morning to Tony. Tony is one of our Eurovision experts. Tony actually writes songs for the Eurovision Song Contest and always sends something in. And he says, I've had about 12 people asking me in the past few days who is going to win You Decide UK. The simple answer is I don't know, and I don't really care about the modern Eurovision. But I painfully had to listen to the songs, and they were just as I expected to hear. A decent bunch of songs and vocalists. It's clear, however, and as I expected, there is no Eurovision winging song among that bunch. And the only thing that might not save the BBC the expense of having to stage a Eurovision next year is a second Brexit referendum. However, I had to listen to the songs, and 2 artists stood out, though they were all very talented. I prefer Kerry Ann's version of the song Sweet Lies, and the other artist was Michael Rice. So different to what I chose, who for me performed a great version of his song called Bigger Than Us, and for that reason. I think that he would rather be better artist to send to Israel, but I said, not a Eurovision winning song. No, I don't think it's a winning song. I think even if we put the best song in, we are not going to win again. They hate us. It's as simple as that. They're not going to vote for us at all. Weird City Citizen did like the one that I played. He says it's a catchy tune. Paul and Lou, we are the freaks. The Europeans might vote for that after all this Brexit stuff. It's true. Morning to Claire. Hello to you, Claire. How did the organ playing go? Have you got the gig? Right, so after the show yesterday, I had a cup of tea. It's very warm in here. I must have the heating on. Just a minute now. I'm going to have to open the window. Just a second, my darlings. Let me open this window here. Very warm. It is actually warm. Isn't it warm at the moment? All those people moaning about the sun. And I said this. When the snow came down the other week, I was up in Lincolnshire, fortunately. They were all on the telly moaning once. Oh, my God, it's terrible. And we've had it all in the papers. Back in September, worst winter from 100 years. Snow on ground, 2 days. 2 days. And it's warmed up again now. We've got 10 degrees out there. We must have a minimum of 10 degrees. The sun's out at the moment. They moan and they moan and they moan. We do not get winters here anymore like they used to be winters. We get a few days of really cold and then it picks up again. Load of old rubbish people are talking. Okay, so yesterday, yes, I finished the show. I had a cup of tea, then I jumped in my car and went down to the church that I go to, Corpus Christi in Wokingham. And I met the parish secretary, Una, who is a lovely, she's ever so quiet, Una. She's a lovely lady. And Father David. And it's the first time, Claire, I've really had a long conversation with Father David. More of a, rather than sort of, oh, by the way, Father, what time it is? Or, oh, can we do this for my mum's? Or something like that. A proper conversation, like two mates talking. I had a wonderful, wonderful time yesterday afternoon. I was in the church for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. I say in the church, and Father David came in. And we're very chatty and what have you. And we went up into the church, which is kind of connected to the house, and opened up the organ. And I, as I said, I wanted them to know that I'm not a professional organist or pianist or anything like that. I kind of play for myself, if you see what I mean, in private. I have played the organ before in church, but that was like... I first did it in my early 20s. In fact, I think I was about 18, 19, 20, something like that. And I used to play the organ at church. And I was never nervous. I'd get up there. From what I can remember, I never used to hit wrong notes or anything like that. I just did my thing, right? And then I got married, and that didn't last very long, of course. And a period of time went, and then I went back again and played a bit more. And then I moved. And once I moved, when I moved here, that was kind of it. I've been back a couple of times to that particular church and played, and that's okay. But to go in another church is really nerve-wracking. Now, I did do it back down at a church in Crowthorne, if you remember, sort of in the middle of last year. Only one gig, and that was okay. But to go in the church that you're kind of known, if you see what I mean, for not particularly well known, but for going in the church. I'm known for going in the church and sitting there. That's a different thing altogether. And I found it really, really nerve-wracking. And so I opened up the organ and showed us where the stuff was. Okay, well, what do you want me to play? She says, I've printed off next week's hymns. So see how you get on with those. So she's got the hymns in front of me. I said, okay. Right. So I kind of played them. Few mistakes, I can't lie to you. But we're not talking like loads of mistakes. So if there was a hymn with 4 verses, I probably hit the wrong note twice in that time, which isn't too bad, is it? I mean, you wouldn't notice. Well, I notice. But you see, this is the thing. I'm sure I never, ever used to hit wrong notes when I was a young man doing this, or a young boy even, 18, 19. I'm sure I never used to hit wrong notes. Whether something happens as you get older that you make mistakes, I don't know. I mean, actually, Ray Reynolds would be the one to ask. I'll have to ask him, stuff that he does now that he used to do. Does he find he makes mistakes with these things now? Anyway, so I played the thing, and then I played parts of the Mass, like the Gloria, Gloria and the Holy Holy. And I said to Father Dana, I said it will sound slightly different to what the others play because I play by ear. You know, I can read music very, very, very slowly. Yeah. But I listen to something and then I play it. And this bit down here kind of comes on its own. I cannot explain to you where it comes from, but it's kind of automatically I know which buttons to press. And he said, okay. And I played it and he's singing along. And it went okay. Yeah, it went all right. Then we went into the office and we got talking about all sorts of things. Oh, he took me into the sacristy. Now, the sacristy is the bit where the priest and the altar servers, they have girls and boys. They kind of get ready and put their little cassocks and outfits on, things like that. And he said, this is where the key is. So when you come in, whatever time you want to get in, just come in here, take the key, up you go, and that's fine. And then he said that there were these hymn boards. He said, now, you see these hymn boards here? I said, yes, Father. He said, these, I'm 11 o'clock, okay? 11 o'clock. So these are the 9 o'clock hymn boards. Do not touch these. Your life will not be living. And he's worth living. And he's laughing while he's saying that. He said, whatever you do, don't touch these boards. I said, I know exactly what you mean, Father. I said, I've been at that 9 o'clock mass now for 2 years. And there are some, shall we say, very, very important people walking around. Now, you know what I mean by that, don't you? Now, this is something I haven't seen at the 11 o'clock. Okay, kind of everyone mucks in and does it. Whereas at the 9 o'clock, there are definitely some very, very important people walking around there. And he's laughing. And then he pointed to these two old things propped up by the side of the table. He said, they're your ones down there, and started laughing. And I said to Father, I said, are you ever tempted to move one of the numbers? Because all these boards, the 9 o'clock boards, they're all set up. You know, this is Tuesday. They're all set up, or Wednesday. They're all set up, ready with the numbers and the bits and pieces. The 11 o'clock, they're sitting by the side of the table. No one's bothered with those. Anyway, so he showed us that. Then we went back into the office. And for some reason, we were talking about Slimming World and all that. And I said, I said, how did you do? I said, well, I'd lost 2 stone on there. But I've put a stone back on since I've been going up north, although I'm not going up north now for 2 months. So I'm hoping to lose at least half of that extra stone that I've put back on. And then, I mean, if I could get back down to that 12 stone, I would damn well try harder this time to keep it off. And one of the things I would have to do is stop eating at my nephew's. See my nephew's wife and my sister, they do me lovely meals, but they're so big. They're massive. And if you put that down in front of me, I'm not going to eat half of it and chuck it away. I have to eat all the food. We got in that conversation of that. We're talking about the Toby Carvery. There's actually a story I've got to Toby Carvery this morning. And I've been to Toby Carvery. And you go around this carvery and take your plate and help with your vegetables. And you can go back and forth as much as you want. But people don't do that. They get the plate and they pile it high, take it to their tables, and then they eat, oh, I can't eat anymore, and they walk off, leaving all that wasted food on the table. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, leaving food on the table. So we were talking about the Slimming World. He did Slimming World years ago, and he lost 5 stone. 5 stone. It's good, isn't it? But recently he's been putting it on again, and he's been to see his doctor. And the doctor said he went for high blood pressure, you see. Doctor said, because he was worried about his heart. And the doctor said, no, your heart is absolutely fine. This is what the doctor said to Father David. Your heart is absolutely fine. You're not going to have a heart attack. You're not going to drop down dead from a heart attack. Your heart is very, very strong. And Father said, oh, well, that's okay then. No, you're not going to have a heart attack. You're going to have a stroke. Oh, what do you mean a stroke? And the doctor said, this is what the doctor said to Father, apparently. He said, you know all these elderly people that you go around in homes and see? You know, the ones that have to be fed, and they have to have their mouths wiped. They have to have, be looked after, their private section. You know, if they want to go to the toilet, someone brings them a bedpan. That's going to be you if you don't lose some weight. And when it's told to you like that, I think it forces you to do something about it. I'm in total agreement with saying that to someone. Unfortunately, sometimes you try and help people by saying something like that, and they think you're attacking them. I don't know why that is. You know, there are certain people in my life who I've come out with stuff like that. And there was one of my friends actually died recently last year from diabetes. He couldn't stop eating. Seriously. Apparently, one of the types of diabetes gets you literally hooked on food. And this lovely, gentle man used to come into the pub and he'd have 2 dinners and then some garlic bread and then a couple of puddings and a load of chips, followed by some crisps about half an hour later. He just kept eating. Eventually he died. And I've said this to certain people, and it's just like they feel like you're just attacking them. And I'm not. I'm trying to help them. I don't want to see anyone die because they're too fat. I wouldn't want to see Gemma Collins die because she's too fat. And I don't say that in a joking way. I wouldn't. When we're talking about these celebrities and things like that, you know, it's all tongue-in-cheek. But you know that, don't you? I wouldn't want to see anyone die because they were too fat. And a lot of people, they, when you say something like that, it is like, they feel like you are just having a go at them, attacking them. When they go to the cupboard and open another bag of crisps in front of you, what can you do? But when that is said to someone, yeah, I totally go along with something like that. Wasn't there something on billboards in London at some point, something that said, you know, if you eat this, you're going to die, and all the people say, oh no, you're fat shaming, you're fat shaming. Yeah, but you're fat shaming to try and save someone's life. That's why they're doing it. To try and save someone's health. So I think there is a lot to be said for saying something like that. If you do this, this is likely to happen. If you are badly overweight, you are likely to have a heart attack or a stroke or some sort of cancer or something like that. Why can't people say that without the fear of, oh, you're fat shaming, you're against fat people? I'm not against fat people. Just trying to save a few lives, that's all. Anyway, that's what the priest was told. And we were talking about that there. Very interesting, though. So we had our conversation, and it went all over the place, this conversation. I told him about the caravan, all this, that, and the other. And eventually we come to a date. And Una, who's the parish secretary, she's lovely, she is. She was saying, do you want me to put you on the road? I said, let's just try one and see how it goes. So we got the 24th of February, I think, is I'm going to play for the 11 o'clock Mass. And I said to Una, I said, now, if I do this and it doesn't quite work out for you, I said, that is perfectly all right. Just let me know, and that's fine. We just carry on as we were before. I said, please, but, you know, if anyone's not happy with it, then that's fine. At which point, Father said, he said, look, we'd rather have someone doing something than nothing at all. He said, there's nothing, I'm not a fan of acapella singing. I really hate acapella singing. Acapella singing is when people sing and there is no instruments. And a lot of the singers do it and they think it's great. You know, they're doing their, I don't know, some sort of pop concert. They do their set. Even Barry Manilow, who is the world's greatest singer of all time, when he does acapella, it's not for me. Unless it's one voice. Because one voice starts a cappella, but then the orchestra build up, don't they, behind him. So that bit's all right. But if he was to sing one voice, completely a cappella, I don't like that. I like to have the instruments behind. And Father was saying, you know, even if you make a couple of mistakes here and there, that's fine. If the hymn numbers come out and you're not sure about the hymns, change the hymns. He said, just change the hymns to something you'll know. So, yeah, we'll give it a go, 11 o'clock. And I just feel I want to give something back. You know what I mean? No one gets, you don't get paid for this sort of thing. And there was one church I did play at, again, it's St. Joseph's. And I did for about a year and a half, a number of years ago now. That's the one I played as a young man. Then I went back there, you see. But it was the journey from here to there was taking some time. Certainly coming back, it'd be taking over an hour to come back. So I stopped that one after about a year and a half. But even, oh, sorry, what was I saying then? Even there, I kind of make occasional mistakes and that. But, oh, yes, that's the bloke before there used to charge them. He used to charge them. And for me, if you're doing something for a church, no matter what your religion, you know, whether it's in a synagogue or a church or a mosque, you're doing it because you love that place. You see what I mean? Cleaning, anything like that, choir cleaning, painting, you would go in there and do it for the love of. Do you see what I mean? And that's where I am on that, you know. Would never in a million years dream of something. Thanks very much. So it's 25 quid, please. Juan, Chris, so there we are. 24th of Feb, Claire, is when, oh, you're not going to turn up, are you? Oh, please don't turn up. There'll be a welcoming party outside the front door. Juan says, Chris, I worked at one time at the Lincoln Center in Manhattan. I know that. I think I've been there, the Lincoln Center in Manhattan, New York offices. Very interesting. Copyrights, trademarks, licensings. Yeah, it's the thing is with these copyright things, I get it if you're trying to make money from someone else's work. I completely get that. Why should you make any money out of someone else's work? What I don't get is when people are kind of doing stuff as, dare I say, hobbies. Okay, doing stuff as hobbies, perhaps to do something for other people, and then they still come down on you like a ton of bricks. I don't get that bit. Really don't. But there we are. Good morning to Kim Witt. Morning, Kim. She's up in Woodhall Spa in Lincolnshire. I'm not there this for a couple of months, as you know, Kim. Lovely seeing you the other day. You look absolutely radiant, Kim. That's if you're still with us at the moment after that long chat. Absolutely radiant. Kim is nearly 60 and she looks 45. Honestly, she looked fantastic when I saw her the other week. Katie Ann says, you sound better. Yeah, I'm feeling better down here. Still a bit painful swallowing though. Although it's not too bad at the moment. Good morning to Christina in Portsmouth, who loves the jacket. Thank you. I've worn this a few times, Christina. I don't know if you've seen it before, my love. Adrian, I hope your biscuits were vegetarian. Well, I did have a look, Adrian. I didn't see any sign of a cow or a dog or a cat in them at all. So fingers crossed. Just little bits of caramel. Absolutely delicious they were. Thank you. Morning to Michael Pullman. Morning, Michael. Who bought you the rose on the calendar? This one here? Great niece Emily. Great niece Emily. Isn't that great? I took them to Legoland last year, and as a thank you present, great niece Emily chose that for me. And where's my bus? There it is, over there. And great nephew George bought me this, which was a kit, and I had to put it together myself. A London bus. Ding ding. Hold on tightly, please. Isn't that great? So that's who bought me that little roast there. John, what do you prefer, Chris? A big organ or a tiny one? A big one with loads of pipes. Loads of pipes. But most churches, oh no, I don't know if that's right or not. Most churches, a lot of churches I know have replaced their pipe organs with electric ones, and they are fairly good. I don't think you can beat a pipe organ, but the electric ones aren't far off it now. They've made great strides with that, okay? Paul and Lou, I'd have a song title, We're Leaving, Get Over It. I like that one, yeah. That's a pretty good song, that is, for the Eurovision. Hello to Adrian. You must have hit the wrong night when you got married. Isn't there a problem with the church and being homosexual? No, I wasn't married to a man. I was married to a woman, Adrian. Did you not know that? Yes, a long time ago, 1983 it was. Adrian, I can understand your comments about me how attacking they are trying to save my life. Are you? I'm touched up again. Kindness coming from you. Yeah, I don't do much kindness, really, to be honest, Adrian. It's all about your health. We don't care what people look like. If you're a celebrity, I could well attack you because that's why you're there, to be attacked. If you're a Z-list celebrity, it's like the whole Gemma Collins thing that we do. It's nothing to do with her size or how she looks like. There's just no talent. There's no talent. I can't stand seeing talented people on the television. Gustav says, I understand what you're saying about weight. I had a discussion once with my doctor where she said they would never use the word fat to patients because they get upset. That's why they use the word overweight and obese. Yeah, perhaps so, Gustav. But what is overweight and obese? The word is fat. It's the same word. I consider myself fat. Okay, maybe not as fat as Gemma Collins, okay? But nevertheless, I consider myself fat. It's around my waist, and I know I am at the moment because I can't do, you can't see it, you see? You can't see it. I can't do the bottom buttons of my shirt up again at the moment. It's really tight. Not painful, uncomfortable. And at the moment, I've only got one pair of jeans that's fitting me at the moment, unless I go up a size and then they look dreadfully baggy. Do you remember when I was wearing all those baggy clothes? It's because they don't fit in my arse, but they won't go around my waist unless I go up a size. You can't win, can you? Adrian says, Adrian's teaching me something here. With diabetes, you get hungry because the insulin, which should give you the munches, that's part of the problem, which is what that bloke had, Adrian. And he wasn't old. I don't think he was even 40. He was a lovely bloke, he was. So gentle and kind, and he just ate all the time. And I was so quite upset when he died. It was last year. Really upsetting. Hello to Omar. Omar says, you are right, I stopped advising friends. Yeah, because they get upset, don't they, Omar? You're trying to help. You're actually trying to help, but they think you're attacking them all the time. Tony, Eurovision Song Contest winner artist Anne-Marie David and myself release an album with music and lyrics by legendary Eurovision writers Claude Morgan, the late Vine Buggy, and one by myself, a cancer charity fundraiser coming out soon. All right. Adrian, are you going to give us the address of the church so a posse of us can come down and listen to you blow? No, I'm not giving you the address. Absolutely. Don't you dare turn up. Don't you dare turn up. I shall go mad. Oh dear. John, by the way, I finished off the cake you left up here in my caravan. The cake. I've got a cheesecake I left in the fridge in the caravan, haven't I? Terrible, that is. Hello to Radio. Dr. Distiller, a long time no see. Good morning to you. I survived the polar vortex by sleeping inside my fridge. He's in America. Lovely man he is. Yes, indeed. Dr. Distiller is in the house. Good morning to you. Claire, don't worry. I won't turn up unless you're playing karaoke songs. I shan't be playing any karaoke songs. Let's just swap over here. Hello to Ray Reynolds. It's BBC 2, 7:30 to 9 o'clock, the Eurovision thing. So thank you for telling us that. Morning to Mike Contini. Morning to Mike. Once again, some of the messages haven't come up there, so I'm just swapping over to the other screen there. Let's just see if we've missed anything out there. Cheryl Pierce is in the house. Good morning to Cheryl. Ice cream is the problem. Oh, you could be right there, Cheryl. I'm a big fan of ice cream. Oh, my Lord. Although I haven't had any since I came back down here. Not any at all. In fact, I went to Aldi last night on the way back from the swimming pool, which was incredibly quiet last night. I must say it was lovely having a pool to yourself. And I popped into Aldi. Did I buy any ice cream? No. Very proud of myself there. Thank you. Very, very proud of myself. Just scrolling down there, my darlings. Morning to Alan Russell, who's coming down on Monday to sing a song. Sing a song. Sing out loud. Sing out strong. That's what you want to sing. So I wonder if that one's on there. Sing a song on the karaoke system. I must double check that. Adrian, does it mean that we are friends because you keep telling me I'm fat, attacking me about it? Oh my God, I'm in shock. We could be friends if you wanted to, Adrian. You could be friends. We could be friends. Now, I was just mentioning the story this morning about the Toby Carvery. Oh, it's gone. Where is it now? Oh, I thought I thought I had a story about the Toby Carvery there somewhere. Where's that gone then? No, it's disappeared. There was just a story there about a Toby Carvery and pictures of the potatoes, which were done really badly. Because let me tell you, some of the best roast potatoes you can possibly have are at Toby Carvery, although not in this particular branch, according to the picture. But I've lost the story. I don't know where that's gone. That's where you get the best potatoes. All right. Now, all right, I've got a few stories for you this morning. Do you remember the Waltons? Remember the Waltons? Wonderful programme in the 1970s. So warm and family type and friendly. I used to love the Waltons. And if I remember rightly, it was 8 o'clock on BBC Two on Monday nights. With a story in the Sun this morning. A star of the Waltons and the voice behind the Winnie the Pooh character, which I did not know, Winnie the Pooh's character, Christopher Robin, says he's never recognised after he moved to Cornwall from the States. John Walmsley, who's now 61 years old, played Jason. Do you remember? The one who played the guitar in the Waltons. He played Jason in the long-running US TV show, which is one of the most iconic shows in the 1970s. Do you remember the Waltons? The actor has been living in the Southwest since October after moving from California. And the actor, who is also famed for providing the voice for Christopher Robin from Disney's Winnie the Pooh cartoons, revealed that despite his association with the award-winning show, he's barely recognised in North Cornwall, where he lives with his wife, Marion. The Waltons revolved around the tight-knit clan's lives on a Virginia mountain during the Depression and the Second World War. Despite that star, it's famous for its much imitated "Good night, John Boy" closing sequence. You remember that? "Good night, John Boy," "Good night, Mary Ellen," and all that business. Used to love it, where each member of the family says goodnight to the others. Despite that, the star and a successful musician said, "I don't really get recognised as I changed my look a few years ago, and now I look quite different than that on the Waltons." Well, I'm looking at the picture of him now, to be honest, and as soon as you tell us that that was the boy in the Waltons, immediately it clicks into place. He does still look like that young boy in the Waltons. He says, "It's an advantage for me as I'm a real people watcher. It's an old acting habit. People tend to behave differently around a celebrity." Oh, I get that all the time in supermarkets. Oh, yes, dear. As soon as they recognise it's Chris Reardon from United Kingdom Talk, people are very, very different. Adrian's like it often in Central Station. He treats him as like some sort of megastar, you know. But I am actually just an ordinary person, Adrian. I'm sure you realise that. Sorry, it's a bit dark this way, isn't it? He says, "Cornwall has so much to offer. We love the sea, the coastal path, the moors, the woods, the farms, the sheep, cows and wild ponies and all the good food. We've been coming here on holiday for years and it began to feel like home. Marion and I busied ourselves with starting a new life, opening a bank account, buying a car, registering with the National Health Service and enjoying the spectacular coastal paths, moors, historic churches and pubs of Cornwall. The Waltons' classic Goodnight John Boy closing sequence was inspired by an actual bedtime tradition at the childhood home of the show's creator, Earl Hamner Jr. The programme earned 2 Golden Globe Awards, and it goes on there, tells you about all the other stars. They did do 3 reunion films, I don't know if you remember, in 1982, and it was repeated on Channel 4 in the 1990s. It says the programmes currently air on True Entertainment, which is a channel in the UK. So that's nice, isn't it? We've got one of the Waltons living. And as I say, you look at his face, And you can, I don't know why he says he looks really different. Okay, he doesn't look like the young boy that he used to look like. But you can certainly see it's that same person. How wonderful. We've got one of the Waltons living here in the... Isn't that fantastic? See, I remember the Waltons so well. What used to happen is that on a Monday night, generally Dad would still be at work. And my mum would go to the Catholic Women's League. And we were... How old were we then? About 14, 15, something like that. And Mum would bring us in a big bottle of Coca-Cola and a packet of crisps, and my sister as well, Sharon, she'd get the same. I think she had lemonade though. And we'd sit there and watch the telly, and I'd have the Waltons on, and generally Mum used to get back, or Dad. I think it was Mum who used to get in first, round about 9:30, shortly after the Waltons finished. Yeah, do you remember the Waltons? Did you like the Waltons? Wonderful. All those old programmes like the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, things like that. I used to love all that. I really did. Let's just pop back onto here. Good morning to Daryl Cole. Good morning, Daryl. Morning to you, Daryl. Morning, Daryl Cole. Can I just say the picture had me thinking they were burnt or extra crispy. Oh, the potatoes. They looked dreadful. They did look absolutely dreadful. I don't know who had been cooking the potatoes in that particular Toby Carvery. Not good. Good morning to you, Daryl. All right there. Tony says, of course, Ron Howard from the Waltons became massive as a director and producer, which indeed he did. He did, yes. I remember that. Can I vouch for the fact that Chris is actually very ordinary? Attack, attack, attack. That's all you ever do, Gustav. You just attack. Katie cried when John Boy left home. Oh, that was sad, weren't it? Do you remember? I remember seeing... I know some of them must be dead now. I think the old man died. Didn't he get dementia? I think the old man died. And the old lady, the grandmother, I seem to remember her in the very last film that they did, and she didn't have any speaking parts, and it was obvious that she had something wrong. Yeah, I do remember that. Possibly dementia as well, I don't know. But yeah, I remember seeing the elderly lady in the very last film that they did, and she had something wrong with her. I don't remember her speaking at all. It was clear to me like that she was being led around the set by the other members of the cast. But you know, that's just one of those things, isn't it? That's what happens to people sometimes. Good morning to Roy Brownlow, and welcome to you, Roy. Christina, the grandmother had a stroke. There you go. I knew there was something there. I knew there was something. Gustav just really insulted me by calling me a snowflake. I don't think so. Good. Now, what else have we got here? A row has broken up. There it is. Here it is. Here it is, Gustav. Here it is. An outrage. This is in this morning's Daily Mirror. An outraged diner has caused a row about the perfect potatoes after being served up disgusting in Toby Carvery. This woman was gutted when her party was offered the blackened and burnt potatoes as part of their £6.49 all-you-can-eat roast dinner. Oh, is that what it is now? Last time I went, it was $4.99. That's gone up a bit, hasn't it? Mind you, still only £6.49 for a roast dinner, as much as you can eat. That's not bad, is it? Not bad. She took to the social media to voice her anger, but others have leapt to the changed defence, saying that they love their potatoes nice and crispy. Now, I'm looking at these potatoes. They do... Would I eat them? Yeah, I probably would eat them. They don't look that bad. They do look a bit burnt, I'll give you that. But often, you know, it's the same with your potatoes at home. You know, you can take them out of the oven. Some will be done perfectly. Some might be a little bit too soft. Some might be a little bit too burnt. That's just how it is, isn't it? She posted a photograph of her meal, you know, because that's what people do on Facebook. They post pictures of their dinner. How interesting. She took to social media to voice her anger and posted a photo of a meal with the caption, "Toby Carvery expecting us to eat roasties like this." She went on, and the ones that came out after looked okay, but they expected everyone to eat these first. There was no other choice. We'll eat those first then. Please don't insult my intelligence by thinking I would pick these over the nicer ones. Obviously, the whole lot look like this. Trust me, I picked the least burnt ones, believe it or not. Clearly, these potatoes they were serving, even the waitress was disgusted and gave us one meal free. Laura's picture shows the potatoes nestling between what looks like mashed potato or cauliflower meat alongside a dollop of mayonnaise. Mayonnaise on a roast dinner? Oh, you chav. How awful. How can you put mayonnaise on a roast dinner? Dear me. Laura, who works for the NHS and ate the meal in a Toby branch of Ramsgate in Kent, was accused by several people of making it up. This bloke says, so you pick up burnt potatoes at the Carvery counter out of the many that are there, and you can choose from that and think we are dumb. You see, that's what I just said. You put potatoes in the oven, and sometimes, one or two of them might turn out burnt and the others are perfectly all right. That's what happens. Laura replied, I can't cope. I will say it again. Firstly, these are not mine. They are another customer's. Secondly, they were all cremated and everyone was complaining. The whole 2 bowls full were full of ones like these. Thirdly, people asked for them to be replaced, only be told not until these ones were gone. Well, that's not very good customer service, is it? That isn't. I mean, if you complain about something, you expect something to be done about it, don't you? It's like when it was what was that dreadful place I went in Boston? The chain bridge restaurant in Boston, like with the chips there. And this dinner came, it looked all right, but there were hardly any chips. And when I complained, the answer was, oh, well, that's a portion. That's the answer. No, why didn't you just go out and give me some more blooming chips? You tight-fisted people. It's disgusting. Now, talking of chips, there's another story here, actually, about chips. Chippies in the Sun this morning. Chippies are depriving customers of 15 chips a meal by serving food in smaller boxes in the latest fight against obesity. Now, chips. There's nothing worse than going into a restaurant and being given a couple of chips. It's just bloody rude. Rude. The shops are also lopping 6 ounces off each fillet of fish after being lectured on the dangers of excessive portion sizes. You can guarantee they're going to be the same cost. This is nothing to do with obesity. It's about keeping costs down or making a bit more profit out of the people just by giving them a few less chips. A standard portion of fish and chips currently contains 1,658 calories. But you know that. You know that before you eat it, don't you? You must do. 79% of a women's guideline daily intake. But the new meals are a third smaller, with just 650 calories. How 650 calories isn't a third smaller? Oh, I see. It should say that's 650 calories less, which actually, if you're on a Slimmers World or anything like that, that's a big drop in calories. 658 calories off a meal is indeed a big drop. It says they contain 2 scoops of chips rather than 3 and a 6-ounce fillet of battered fish rather than a 9-ounce one. 1 scoop contains about 15 chips, depending on the size of the cut. Researchers from the University of Newcastle, so all that stuff they've got to do at universities, and they start measuring chips. Please. They work with a fish and chip wholesaler to try and encourage healthier eating. Shop owners and staff were given lessons in nutrition and asked to promote smaller portions by putting up posters in stores. Posters included messages that we don't want to overload you, so we want you to offer you a lighter bite, a smaller portion of delicious and nutritious fish and chips at a smaller price. Oh, really? They have reduced the price. I find that very difficult to believe. Customers could continue to purchase standard size meals for around $6.40 or the smaller ones for around £4. What ones would you have? Would you have the smaller ones or the large ones? If I told you, well, you can have a small fish and chips or a large one? Which one would you have? Would you have the smaller one? Would you? I wouldn't. Whenever I go to the chip shop, I'll have a large chips, please. Something was just sitting there and I don't feel I've eaten enough. You know, a little bit like that. What would you do? What would you do? Christina Ewing. You are a megastar with lots of feelings and emotions. That's why we all love you. Very kind, Christina. That's why I love myself so much, Christina. That is why I love myself. In fact, one of our dear friends in America, Angela Washington, sent through a little message on the YouTube. Sometimes people put messages on after the show is finished. They've watched the the replay or something like that. And Angela put something like that. She said on the subject of on the subject of stardism, embrace your international stardom. No mask required. Thank you, Angela. And thank you, by the way, those of you that sent messages over on the YouTube the other day. Coco Bungie wrote there a happy birthday from me. That was the other day. As indeed did Chris985. Good morning, Chris985. Put a little comment in there. With the bad voice, Weird City Citizen was saying the other day that I sound like Paul Miller from BBC Radio Sussex. BBC Radio Sussex. I gather the BBC local stations haven't done too well this year at the ratings thing that they all run. Oh, there was an email that I meant to read out yesterday from, it's Chris, isn't it? Chris Lotze. Here we are. Chris Lotze sent this a couple of days ago, actually, which I've missed. Sorry about that, Chris. He says, I know that I'm old. When I'm old, I'm even just half as happy as you are when I'm old. You truly have found the key to life, and it's infectious to all your friends, family, and viewers, except the ones that attack all the time. The ones that are constantly looking for faults to nitpick. There are a couple of people on here like that. There are. No names mentioned at all. You know who they are, and people know who you are. Be warned. Proper fans are descending on you at this moment, ready to attack. Chris says, I'm not just emailing you to wish you a happy birthday, but also to complain. Oh, a complaint has come into the studio. Why did you have to leave your Lincolnshire studios for 2 months? I don't understand why. Are you too loud and they've banned you from the caravan for 2 months? Too many fans camping out in your yard? How many warnings do you get before they kick you out? What did you do to piss off your neighbours? Or is everyone in that park banned from their homes for 2 months? I know most of them aren't as glamorous and famous as you, so probably don't have a second home like you. Are they all sleeping in tents outside the park? I'm so confused as to why you are banned from your second home for 2 months. No. Incorrect, Chris. It is nothing to do with being too loud or upsetting neighbours. The park simply has a 10-month licence. That's why. And the 2 months they're closed happens to be February and March. That's why. Some caravan sites, it's a marina caravan sites. Some have a 12-month licence. Some have an 8-month licence. Some have 10-month licence. Depends on the licence. Theirs is 10 months. So you are not allowed to sleep in your caravan for 2 months. Okay? If you are caught, not only could you be evicted from it, but also the actual owners can lose their licence. And if they lose their licence, you've lost what you've got. Your contract is with them, you see, not the council. So if the council were to come down and find people in their caravans, they could then go to the owners, okay, we're taking your licence back, and then we'd all have to go. Nowhere to go. I'd have to put my caravan in my sister's garden. Actually, I think she would let me do that, although it would have to be lifted over with some sort of crane, I think. So that's why. It's only a 10-month licence there. He then goes on to say, okay, full disclosure, I may or may not have watched all of your videos. Pardon? And you might have talked about this in a previous video, not knowing you for a while. You tend to talk about the same topic a few times a week. Pardon? Do I? But oh no, not this one. What is the real reason you have to be away from your Lincolnshire studios? And that's why. That's why, my friend. It's because they only have a 10-month licence there, okay? Ray Reynolds says, I had a nice Toby Carvery lunch on Monday with my cousin Peter. Yes, of course, he's come to the karaoke a few times, hasn't he? At Snaresbrook. Good value on everything fresh and tasty for about £7 each. I think it's extremely good value, the Toby Carvery's, Ray. I really do. It's not. I don't go much at all. I do tend to eat an awful lot, but of course I don't eat any of the meat. You know, I don't have. Believe it or not, if I go to a Toby Carvery, I don't have a vegetarian option. They do little pies and nut things and all that. I just have the potatoes and the vegetables. That's all I have when I go to Toby Carvery. Good value though. Adrian, do you know chip shops use palm? I want to cook with. This is really bad cooking fat. Tasteless. Tasteless. Bad taste of food. Well, use something else then. If you don't like that, use something else. What else can you use? I don't know. What about that Spry, crisp and dry? Do you remember the advert for Spry, crisp and dry? And you just shake it and all the oil would come out. Is anyone still using that anymore? Good. Okay, doke. Let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. It's birthday time here on the Chris Reardon Show. Happy birthday this morning to the delightful, lovely Laura Rickner. She's a lovely, lovely lady whose politics must be completely and totally different to mine, but it don't matter because you're a nice girl. Happy birthday, Laura. Happy birthday to you today. She comes along and sings at the karaoke quite often, don't you? You haven't been to to the Central Station. I think you've been there once, but she used to come to the London Bridge Belushes all the time. Happy birthday, Laura. I hope you're doing really well, all right, my darling. Steve Bronski. You all know Steve Bronski. Bronski Beat, one of those. Yes. Happy birthday to Steve Bronski, 59 today. I thought you were a little bit older than me, Steve, me old mate. Come down the pub and see me soon. Steve Bronski today from Bronski Beat, 59 years old today. John Tobias, good morning to you. Happy birthday, John. Betz Emily Georgie is a young 26 today. Happy birthday. Let's have a look. Steve Brewer is 51 years old today. Christian Taylor, good morning, Christian. Happy birthday. Rose Marie Kane, happy birthday to you. Billy Draper, Billy Boy, 35 years old today. Happy birthday, Billy. Madzian is birthday today as well. Good morning, Madzian. And Carmel Ridgely, who I went to school with, Sacred Heart School in Roehampton, primary school that is 57 years old today. So happy birthday, Carmel. Shall we sing a little song for you all? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Now, Adrian says no fish and chip shops are using palm oil, which is very bad for your health, clogs up your arteries like turbocharge, and because the quality of it is very bad for the taste of the food, I can tell straight away why ask them how they are using palm oil, so I go elsewhere. Oh, well, absolutely. Yeah, if you don't like what they're doing, just go elsewhere. That's generally what I do, Adrian. And incidentally, once a shop has upset me, you know, if they've let me down in some way, that's it, I'm gone. I don't go back there again. I like products. Years and years ago, when I was 14 years old, I bought a Philips cassette recorder and something went wrong. We sent it back and it came back minus something. And they rowed and they rowed and my dad rowed with them. And I never ever bought another Philips product after that. In all those years. Funny, innit? Once I've been upset, I'm gone, mate. I'm gone. Funnily enough, someone, the estate agent that I rent my properties through, they sent me a review thing yesterday, so I answered it honestly. I'm sort of reasonably happy with them, but certainly the service I get from them is not the service that I used to get from them 10 years ago. it's a case of, look, you ring them up, leave a message, no call coming back, or send them an email and it's not replied to. Do you see what I mean? And I hate that. I hate that. Nothing worse than leaving a message and the call is not returned. Or the email is not returned. And I put that in there. Oh, do you recommend? How many stars do you give? So I gave 3 out of 5. 10 years ago, they would have got a 5. It was a very, very personal service. They got too big. I think they got too big. So I answered it honestly. I haven't heard back from them yet. You would expect someone to contact me, wouldn't you? But we'll see what happens now next time I send them an email. Kathy Conquest Forsyth Smith. You're so late, Kathy, dear. So late. You're so late. I could have had Barry on this morning interviewing him and you would have missed it, Kathy. Terrible, really. All right. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thanks ever so much, boys and girls. It's been a pleasure talking with you this morning. Well, we didn't open the phone lines for a couple of days, have we? I'll have to do that again soon, just in case anyone wants to call in. I'm not doing anything in particular today on this Thursday. I think I'm going shopping shortly after the show. I've got to meet up with my mate. I think my mate's coming shopping as well, Ronnie. He's got a little bit of a chest problem at the moment. He's got mucus. I think he said there were mucus plugs in his lungs, mucus plugs, and he has to cough to clear them. I'm not quite sure what they are, but he does have a lot of trouble with his chest. He's had pneumothoraxes and things like that. That's where they shove that needle in and I go, psst, like that, innit? Oh, frightening having a needle shoved in your blooming lung like that. Hey, Kathy, I'll set my alarm tomorrow. He won't be back tomorrow. No, I'm not saying he was here, but he might have been. You would have missed him, Kathy, because you were so late. I'm going. Thanks for joining us, boys and girls, and I'll see you again hopefully sometime tomorrow. Have a nice Thursday. Bye-bye now.